Welcome to Rediscovering the Beatles with Mark Morse. I'm Mark. Today I am going to rank the Beatles albums, and I'm going to do the 13 albums that are commonly accepted to be part of the Beatles canon. Strangely enough, all in my entire life, I'm in my 60s now, I have never ranked these albums in my mind. I've always had favorites or some that I don't listen to as much, but I've never taken the time to put them in order. I'm calling this my definitive list, though it could change probably in the next day or two. These are albums in what they mean to me. I always like to mention in these videos, I am not a musician. I am not a album expert. I'm not a music expert. I am first and foremost just a fan of the music. And the albums bring me a lot of joy. Even the ones that I have at the bottom of my list, I still love those albums. So this is for entertainment purposes. If you have a different list or you just want to talk about, I think I would place that differently, that's absolutely fine. That's what we're here for, is to have a little fun. I'm not going to take too much time with this video. I just want to get an official list out. So let's get started. Number 13, Yellow Submarine. There are some great songs on here, and I enjoy the first side of this album quite a bit. The problem with this album is half the album is George Martin orchestration, and it's more of a soundtrack that doesn't really interest me that much. And then on the first side with the Beatles songs, we've heard at least a couple of these songs before. All You Need Is Love and Yellow Submarine are on other albums. I do love the songs that are left. I particularly love Hey Bulldog. I think that's a great song. The Harrison songs, It's All Too Much and Only a Northern Song, maybe not great, but I think they're interesting and I like to listen to them. All Together Now, I know that song gets a lot of grief for its childlike simplicity, but I love that song. When I hear it playing, I definitely sing along. But that is number 13, mainly because there's not enough Beatles on there. This was a little harder, just because I've always considered this a great album, because they are all great albums. But Beatles For Sale, mainly because there's so many cover versions on here, but there are some absolutely great songs on here. I'm a Loser. I love that song. I'll Follow the Sun. I Don't Want to Spoil the Party. I've always loved that song. 8 Days a Week. Great songs, but just too many covers on there for me to list much higher than this. I should mention, well, I'm not going to mention that. It'll give away too much. My next one is number 11, and it's Please Please Me. I've been listening to this one a lot lately. I don't know why. I think it's because it's not one I listened to a lot when I was younger, so it's newer and fresher to me now. But just some great songs on here. I Saw Her Standing There. I do love Ringo's rendition of Boys on there. I think it's really it's a nice driving, exciting song. I really do love it. Please Please Me, Love Me Do. We all know how much I love Me Do. There's a Place, and then their version of Twist and Shout is, of course, incredible. Next on the list is With the Beatles. This is the Parlophone UK version, so it's a little different than the American Meet the Beatles. I don't have much to say about this. I do listen to this quite a bit, probably more than the ones that I've just gone through. So it was hard to place for me, but I placed it at number 10. Number 9, number nine. Number nine, we're going for A Hard Day's Night. Great album, great movie. I enjoy the movie so much. Some awesome songs on here. Just an awesome album. I'm not going to sing any of them for you, but there's some great songs on here, including the title track, I Should Have Known Better, Can't Buy Me Love, which was on my Love edition for my Fab Four the other day. Just some great songs. Fun album. And then number 8 is another movie album, Help. Unbelievable album. Just Ticket to Ride. You've Got to Hide Your Love Away, which was also on my Fab Four Love Edition list. Help. I've Just Seen a Face Yesterday. Just an awesome album. So Help is number 8. Number 8. Number 7 is Revolver. Another awesome album. I do want to stress that this is the UK version. What the Americans' Capitol did to this was awful. But the UK original version, before it got chopped up, just an absolutely wonderful album. Taxman, Eleanor Rigby, I'm only sleeping. Good Day Sunshine, and Your Bird Can Sing. I Want to Tell You, which is, I've always loved that Harrison song. It's just, I don't know, it's always spoken to me. And of course, Tomorrow Never Knows, which was just right on the cusp of the psychedelic revolution. And then after Revolver, for number 6, Rubber Soul. Rubber Soul. This is one of the first albums that started sinking into my subconscious when I was a kid. I'm in my 60s now, but when I was growing up, Nowhere Man From Here was really one of the first Beatles songs I took notice of. I just loved the harmonies of it. I loved the tone and, that just kind of melancholy sound. I just loved it. Drive My Car, of course, is on here. Norwegian Wood. Harrison's Think For Yourself. The Word, that's a weird one. I've never really liked that song. And when I say I don't like it for a Beatles song. It's just there's something about that song that I love the Lennon parts, but I don't know. We'll talk about that later. I'm Looking Through You, love that song. And of course, In My Life. And then the song that Lennon hates so much, Run For Your Life. It's such an odd Beatles song. But I understand why he doesn't like it. But I still like that song too. It's just because of the oddity of it, I think. Number 5 is Sgt. Peppers. I think this might have been gone higher, except I've listened to this album so many times. I think it's lost some of the magic. In another couple months, it might rise back up. But this is the first album that I really remember as a kid being attracted to. My brothers had it up in their room. I grew up in a family of 9 kids, and all my brothers lived in this giant attic room, and I'd go up there and mess around. And I came across this album, and before I even listened to it, I was just fascinated by the cover, reading the words, the gatefold in there where the Beatles sitting down, and I remember seeing Paul McCartney and thinking, I want that to be my look. Talked my mom into letting me grow a Beatles haircut. It's just a great album. I really connect to because of those memories. And then, of course, it just happened to change the face of music, too. So I used to be just in love with the song When I'm 64, and I'd play that song over and over again. And then one day I was lazy and it drifted into Lovely Rita, and then I realized, oh my God, this is a great album. And it's one of the first albums I ever bought with my own money. So that's number 5. Number 4, Magical Mystery Tour. Another great album I love. Strawberry Fields. All You Need is Love, of course. I Am the Walrus. Blue Jay Way by Harrison. The instrumental Flying. Just an awesome album. I always associate this album with summertime. When I got older and I was a teenager, probably 14 or 15, I bought an electric guitar. And one day I realized I could hook my turntable into the amplifier of my guitar. And what I did is I took the amplifier, I lived on the second floor of our house, I put it in the window, but facing out, and I would play this album and it would blast throughout the neighborhood until somebody came over and knocked on the door and told me to knock it off. But that's just a memory I associate with that album. Man, we're getting to the top 3 now. Number 3, Let It Be. This is the one I bought when I was in the 70s. This thing is gone through hell with me. We've gone through a lot of good and bad times together, but I love this album. When I saw the Peter Jackson Get Back, it made me like it more because that film wasn't as depressing as the original Let It Be movie. So I really love this album. I love that. I don't even mind the Phil Spector thing. I know George Martin has said that this album was produced by him and then overproduced by Phil Spector. I don't even mind that overproduction stuff. The Naked, Let It Be Naked, still like that too, but this is just, I really love the sound of this album. And some of these songs, Get Back, of course. What's some other ones on here? I've Got a Feeling. Oh, I love that song. Just a great album. So now we're getting down to the last 2. So that's why your pulse is quickening. My number 2 album is Abbey Road. This, of course, is a classic. I love it. Everything on it. Everything on this I love. Just every song on here is great. That medley, I love it. I know Lennon said it was garbage, but I love all of it. I love how they pieced all those little things together and made it this masterpiece. She Came In Through the Bathroom Window, Golden Slumbers, Carry That Weight, the end, and even Her Majesty is, I love that whole thing. And then Harrison made such a strong appearance on this album with Something. And Here Comes the Sun. Dear God, what a great finish for the Beatles, for George Harrison. I even like Maxwell's Silver Hammer. I know 3 out of the 4 Beatles hated that song, and I hear a lot of people talk about how they don't. I really like that song, and I think it's because I think it's kind of funny. I think it's it's basically a serial killer, but it's sung in such a happy-go-lucky way. It kind of reminds me of Mac the Knife. Excuse me. Mac the Knife, when you listen to it, it's all jazzy, but when you're listening to the words, you realize it's a pretty grim, morbid song. And then my number 1 favorite album is the Beatles, the White Album. I love this thing. I absolutely love it. I remember when my brother Terry brought it home for the first time, and we were listening to it. Sorry, my mustache hair is getting in my mouth. But we were listening to it, and I just remember being stunned by what a fantastic album this was. I don't even mind those filler songs, the Wild Honey Pie. It's not great. It's not something I would ever put on a mixtape for a girl I was interested in, but I still don't mind it. Revolution Number 9, that song, that's not a song, that sound collage scared me when I was younger. I just thought it was very frightening. It kind of gave me a creepy feeling, and like a lot of people, I would skip that as soon as it came on. I'd jump up and I would skip that. Now I kind of like it. I've tried to I used to have a 4-track tape, and I would recording device, and I would make my own Revolutions Number 9. It's more fun to do it than that, to make one than to listen to it, but I do like it now. It's not my favorite on that album, of course, and you have to be in the mood for it, so I still skip it every now and again, but it's not an immediate take the needle off. But there's just so many great songs on here. I think some of Harrison's best stuff is on here too. I love Savoy Truffle. I really like Long, Long, Long by him. Helter Skelter, of course. This is just, everything's on it. I think it's the variety I love so much, but that is my number one pick. The Beatles, the White Album. So, of course, your album rankings are not invalid. Your rankings are just as valid as mine, probably more so. So, let me know if you feel differently about some of my picks. It was just kind of a fun thing to do. I'm recording this on a Sunday evening, and I just wanted to do something kind of fun before the work week starts, and I thought this would be kind of a fun thing where I get to talk about the Beatles and my rankings, and it's something I've never done before. Feel free to disagree with it. Again, I think all these albums are awesome. Of course, I love every single one of them, even Yellow Submarine, side 1 at least, and no disrespect to any of the Beatle albums, because I just love them. And I also love that you're here and you listen to this whole thing. I know this is getting long, so let me sum up now. Thank you for watching.